Okay, this lady spreads a lot of dangerous misinformation about Japan. I'm going to debunk a lot of the lies and dangerous stuff she says in this video.
Japanese used to call the police for any little thing.
Not true. They don't call the police that often over trivial stuff. They do it less frequently than people in the States do.
But here they are allowed to call an ambulance only as a last resort, when a person
That is not true at all.
is already on the verge of death.
Nope.
If, for example, your child becomes ill in the middle of the night, you need to figure it out yourself and
No, that is not true. If your kid is sick in the middle of the night here in Japan, you can call emergency services and they will assess whether or not an ambulance should come. And you're not going to get in trouble for calling them. If your kid is sick in the middle of the night here in Japan and you're worried, you can call and you think it's a real emergency, you go ahead and call EMS. You're not going to get in trouble for it and you're not going to get fined for it.
go to the hospital on your own. But it is not
They're not just going to throw you to the wolves if your kid's super sick.
customary for them to call an ambulance. In this regard, in Europe everything is much simpler and better. Here you can call
Japan has universal health care and their EMS system is really robust. It's on par with the best systems in Western Europe. Don't be afraid to call EMS if something's wrong here.
an ambulance at any time of the day. It was a shock for me when, during the coronavirus epidemic, 2 of my children had a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius.
Which is about 104 Fahrenheit.
It was in the middle of the day, and I turned to my friends with the question, what should I do? Can I call an ambulance? To which they answered that I couldn't call an ambulance because I would be fined because
That's not true. That's a lie. And if her friends did say that, her friends gave her crap information. Your kid's running a really high dangerous fever, 104, 105, like 40, 41 Celsius. Go ahead and call EMS and they'll assess what's going on and they'll give you instructions. You're not going to get in trouble if you ask for an ambulance because you think your kid's going to die.
children were not yet in critical condition. I asked if in this case
That's a
it might
lie.
be worth calling a pediatrician, but
That's a totally fine thing to do. You can go ahead and do that. You're not going to get in trouble for that either. In fact, that's the normal thing to do. Go ahead and call the doctor's office and be like, hey, this is what's going on. What should I do? I've done that here. It's not a big deal.
I was told that the only option was to go to the local hospital to see a pediatrician. Japanese
This is really dangerous misinformation. Treat Japan like any other developed country. And if you're from Europe, treat it like Europe. Go ahead and call the doctor's office if you have general questions, and go ahead and call EMS if you think it's an emergency, and they'll sort it out. This is not true.